Amongst the most hotly anticipated titles to land early next year is Dead Space, a faithful reproduction by EA's Motive Studio of the seminal 2008 survival horror classic. New technologies provide Motive's creative team with tools to reimagine the beleaguered mining ship USG Ishimura as an expansive, labyrinthine space dungeon, with the solitary quiet of dimly lit corridors and secret passageways pierced by necromorph jump scares. Strategic dismemberment, the infamous tactic of severing limbs to evade violent necromorph clutches, returns alongside an intriguing, dynamically adjusting intensity director, and a new, altogether gruesome-sounding peeling system, which the developers claim will intensify gore by fabricating layers of flesh, tendon, and bone into every grisly kill. The Necromorph are the game's shockingly ferocious mutant monsters, corpses reanimated to enact extreme and indiscriminate violence on all living lifeforms. To understand the Necromorph and the origin of their infection, we must first understand the markers. These double helix monoliths of extraterrestrial design, whilst enigmatic on first impression, are understood to generate the Necromorphs, their purpose being to act as conduits, aiding the markers achieving their end goal of ultimate organic lifeform destruction. Once a necromorph infestation has consumed a sizable chunk of a planet's organic life, the marker will trigger a convergence event to create a brethren moon, that is, a gigantic spacefaring blood moon composed of necrotic body tissue. The exact origin of the first marker or brethren moon is unknown, but their parasitic life cycle to infiltrate, spawn, consume, and destroy before moving on to suction the life out of the next host planet suggests that they're grimly sentient, with countless star systems desolated by the Necromorph's moon's ceaseless crusade. The markers themselves broadcast a highly concentrated electromagnetic signal, serving two purposes. One, to drive the living to a state of perpetual madness, their mindset rendered homicidal through intense hallucinations, insomnia, depression, and other symptoms of signal-induced dementia. And two, to alter the genetics of dead tissue on a molecular level, effectively reanimating corpses to the rampant zombie necromorph. In another illustration of the marker's sentience, they can fine-tune the signal to suit the individual unfortunate enough to be receiving it. The less intellectually inclined suffer raging dementia-like symptoms, morbid depression, attention deficiency, and compulsive scrawling of marker symbols, culminating in committing murder and suicide. For the cleverest, the marker assigns complex tasks such as the construction of more markers, known throughout Dead Space lore as the Red Markers. Dead Space is set in the year 2508, but humanity had knowledge of the markers almost 300 years prior in 2214. A black marker lay dormant on Earth after crash landing inside an asteroid 65 million years earlier. After citizens of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico began suffering severe mental illness, a research team led by Michael Altman recovered the marker from a giant flooded crater. Like the residents of the surrounding Yucatan Peninsula, Altman and his team began suffering from marker-induced dementia. Figuring out the marker's nefarious nature, Altman conducts a bogus transmission which he beams back to the marker, temporarily disrupting its signal long enough to bury it once again in the flood. However, government forces driven by Earth's desperate hunger for energy resources assassinate Altman and steal his bogus transmission blueprints. They believe the markers, whilst known to be dangerous, offered a solution to humanity's dire energy shortages. Fast forward to 2311, and 3 red markers are constructed and placed on 3 distant planets, Aspera, Nemar, and Aegis 7. The Sovereign Colony's lead researcher, Dr. Earl Serrano, had been experimenting up to this point with the original marker in the hopes of harvesting renewable energy. They reverse-engineered Altman's code for the red marker's construction, with researchers studying the red markers on each of the 3 planets, falsely downgrading their signals to mostly harmless. Of note is marker 3A, which was placed deep underground on the rocky, Earth-like Aegis 7. Lead scientist Dr. Iando Dukai was the first to discover that the genetic code broadcast by the markers was in fact a set of biological instructions to reanimate dead cell tissue, a rallying cry for the onset of a necromorph plague. Furthermore, the markers' sentience and influence over necromorphs was observed via their ability to generate a protective buffer, a dead space, around their structure. The sovereign colonies were fully aware of the markers' danger by this point. In events explained in Dead Space 3, Dr. Serrano had already uncovered the fate and ultimate demise of an ancient alien race when tracking their own marker's signal to the frozen planet Tau Volantis. See, like humanity some 2 million years later, this ancient alien race studied and made copies of an original black marker, enthralled by its false promise of renewable energy. A necromorph plague beset the planet, triggering a convergence event and the formation of a brethren moon. However, as discovered by Serrano, a league of alien resistors fashioned a codex, which, when working in tandem with a terraforming machine, transformed the once verdant planet into a harsh, frozen dead wasteland, simultaneously wiping out their own existence whilst halting the necromorph convergence event. The sentient blood moon lay dormant, its mind active in a body frozen in time. With necromorph infestation attributed to the 3 red markers' influence growing out of hand, the sovereign colonies declared Scenario 5, a multi-tiered mission to eradicate all data, records and equipment pertaining to the red marker research on Aspera, Nemar and Aegis 7, and the Tau Volantis exhibition. As a drastic containment measure, all personnel were ordered killed, with the last remaining killing themselves. The 3 planets were blacklisted, struck from the aeons of space and time in the hopes that their red markers never be discovered. Some 200 years later, and with planet cracking now the focus of humanity's strive for energy resources, the USG Ishimura scours distant barren planets to harvest, leading them illegally to Aegis 7. A new Earth governing body has emerged in the wake of the sovereign colonies, alongside the organization Unitology, a movement founded on Michael Altman's discoveries surrounding the original black marker found near the Yucatan Peninsula. Discovery of marker 3A on Aegis 7 by the illegal mining colony was hailed by some as credence to Unitology's teachings. However, colonists soon bore the brunt of the marker's influence. Insomnia, depression and dementia quickly ran rampant amongst the colony's residents, with paranoia and hallucinations feeding anger and violence amongst the populace. Despite this, colony manager unitologist Hanford Carthusia made effort to remove the red marker inside the colony. In cahoots with Carthusia, USG Ishimura Captain Benjamin Matthias ordered the recovery and safe storage of marker 3A inside the ship, although its destructive, plague-afflicting nature was unbeknownst to him. With murder and suicide spreading amongst the ship's crew, the necromorph began running amok, reanimating corpses lay strewn following the wave of dementia. Responding to the USG Ishimura's radio silence, the USG Kellion's crew arrive on a search and rescue mission, chief amongst them CEC engineer and player character Isaac Clarke. And so begins Dead Space.
Now, where is she? There she is. We have visual contact.
So that's Ishimura. Impressive.
The USG Ishimura. Biggest planet cracker in her class. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it all dark? I don't see any running lights.
Corporal, take us in closer and hail them. And stay clear of that debris field. We're here to fix their ship, not the other way around.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
You're gonna need to boost the signal if their power's low.
Yes, we know.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.